would you guys consider jacking off to be a sport?
Mamoru Uchiha the Transsexual series is a Japanese anime originally released in summer 2013. And right away I should address that a lot of people regularly talk about how much of a hidden gem the show is. And even though I really don't like to tread the same ground as other YouTubers, it's Watamote, what the fuck am I supposed to do? On the cute anime girls doing random shit scale, this is easily S+ tier alongside 30 Rock and the soundtrack to Alvin and the Chipmunks too. I'm gonna do something insane though. I'm gonna set this review apart from the others by proving myself wrong on something. On the last episode of Anime Infinity, I said this. Just give me a sign that you still care, Japan. Bring Watamote back. I swear to God, I'll shut up. In hindsight, that was a really bad choice of words. Adding more seasons to this show is a slippery slope that'll only lead to disappointment if you don't know what you're doing. To explain though, first I gotta tell you what was so great about the anime to begin with. Let's go ahead and get the obvious thing out of the way. Oh my god, Tomoko is so relatable. Hashtag she's literally me. This is the most accurate on-screen depiction of depression as far as the anime industry goes. Quite frankly, it is an impressive microcosm of the loner psyche. Yeah, fuck all that. Seriously speaking, this show is about one thing and one thing only. Masturbation. You're over here talking about representation. I want to talk about how this is the most accurate on-screen depiction of post-nut clarity.
I'm coming. I'm coming!
She just throws the DS at the wall like, I don't even want to look at this anymore, I'm taking a nap. You realize this show is only 12 episodes long and there's enough sexual comedy to fill 2 whole Big Bang Theories. She literally plays so many yaoi games that she forgot she had a coupon to go get audibly molested by one of the voice actors. She's like, hey, this random paper I found by accident is for tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Could you say, I'm gonna make a mess out of you?
Damn, how old are y'all again? Hey, could you talk really softly into the mic and say you're gonna rearrange my insides? Oh yeah, sure. Girl, that pussy's gonna look like a deconstructed mall lot by the time I'm done with you. And despite this, despite the constant hailstorm of everything I got mad at Konosuba for doing, Tomoko is probably in the top 3 iconic female anime MCs. I mentioned before how good female anime protagonists are practically impossible to find. They really had me fucked up watching Michigo and Hachin just because I wanted to showcase one for this video. And let me underline the severity of that statement just in case you zoned out there. Michigo and Hachin is one of the only go-tos I have if I want to see strong female main characters in anime.
You've put on weight since I saw you last, Michiko.
Now this is usually the part of the video where I criticize the logic behind the show's writing, but Michigo and Hachin takes place in South America. I've lived in Brazil for the past 5 decades now. That was actually remarkably realistic given how far back the police here are technologically. They'll be regularly using pots and pans as standard issue bulletproof armor here, looking like the Plants vs. Zombies guy. Half of them gotta use slingshots instead of guns. This country's essentially one step away from being a Home Alone movie. But I digress. Watamote is saved by being a lot less Konosuba and a lot more How Not to Summon a Demon Lord in its presentation. And as a result, it actually enhances the character arc of Tomoko being a NEET because it would be kinda unrealistic if the show wasn't at least a little sexual.
Boys love games aren't really my thing. But I could use the change of pace today.
That's gonna be $65, please.
Damn, you gotta pay $65 for a PS3 game of some dudes fucking? Elden Ring ain't even that damn much. I might have to try that shit out. And that's not to say the whole show is just her doing the old 5-knuckle shuffle. The translation for the title is, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. Exclamation point. Each episode is either her going to school and trying to stand out, or not going to school and doing exactly what you would expect. I especially appreciate them including really lax moments of her not saying anything and just watching TV. Not because it enhances the realism, but because I can make the screen transparent in GIMP and then put whatever I want on it.
Good evening, my main man, and all the configurations of my main man. My name is Wilford Warthash, and tonight I bring my triumphant return to hard-hitting journalism. I'd like to welcome my special guest, head of security at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Welcome, sir.
Hello?
Shut the fuck up, motherfucker!
Well, the lights flicker quite often. There are grotesque children all around the office, and occasionally you have to jump out and go boo.
What?
Occasionally you have to put on a mask so the mechanical children's animatronics don't f me.
What?
Occasionally you have to f children all around the office.
You seem to be strong.
Yes.
You seem to be strongly inferring the amount of boos that occur within your division.
Yes, there are a lot of boos.
How many boos?
A lot of boos.
And if you were to count them each shift?
Anywhere from 2.
I have no idea how you go about dealing with that many boos.
F me.
What?
No, I said, f me.
Why, that sounds absolutely frightful.
Now that I think about it, the way Silverlink handled the adaptation overall is almost perfect. Even the moeification of Tomoko's character design works surprisingly well. There's a lot of really neat details. The outro is actually sung by Tomoko's actress in character, and the whole thing is just her crying and throwing up to the beat of the song. It is unironically one of the catchiest things you will ever hear in your entire life. And that's not even the good theme. The good theme's the opening. This shit has won the annual Try Not to Headbang Championship 10 years in a row now, and even though they're just taking from the manga, the anime almost exclusively elevates the memeability of the source material.
That's right, Sex Ed Week! We're gonna be talking about the penis! We'll be talking about penis! Do you think that's funny, butthead? Do you find it amusing that we'll be talking about the penis? Yes, we're also gonna be talking about penis! And we will definitely be spending a lot of time talking about the penis!
They also better hide the moral of the story, since they pretty much curve it as the season finale. The true lesson of Watamote, as far as season 1 is concerned, is that if you're an incel and nothing you've tried so far to fix that is working, just be gay for your childhood friend. And that alone makes this one of the best anime ever made, because it's one of those things that you can relate to more the older you get. Seriously, this is one of the few anime that I can wholeheartedly applaud. I can't recommend it because it's lolly hentai. But what I'm saying here is, the anime needing to be afraid of a second season isn't the studio's fault. I think you know where I'm going with this. It's time for Saucy's manga reviews.
Every morning there's a penis hanging from my girlfriend.
So aside from Berserk and One Piece, Watamote is the main anime I've seen and been like, oh yeah, I need to see what happens next, this is crucial. And the first time I read the manga, I got legitimately pissed because she gets friends. Even though the crux of the show is that she's a loner. I mean, the one medium-distance friend that she low-key wants to fuck in the anime doesn't really do much, but I thought it was good enough. Later on, though, they decide to pull more from the bag of girls she talked to before she graduated middle school, which is pretty retconny because Tomoko acts like she forgot about them. So we're just expected to believe her memory span is less than a year, but whatever. Going back through the manga a second time, though, I already knew it was gonna happen, so I didn't care. Until I read past that part. And I realized they never stopped. Honestly though, maybe I'm biased. Maybe watching the anime as a weekly tradition pigeonholed my view on how the story should progress. Maybe I've spent so much time watching Tomoko be lonely that I brainwashed myself into thinking she always needs to be like that. So let's really analyze the side characters in depth and see what each of them brings to the moment-to-moment reading experience. First off, we got Kotomi, the student librarian. Think of her as the Hajime Dagashikashi of the series, especially since she'd probably be the selling point of a second season. She is the primary antagonist of the Tomoko's brother's penis arc, which is far too complex to get into in this video alone. I'd honestly need a Hunter x Hunter style diagram to explain the several layers that are woven together in order to make this masterclass of a narrative.
Number 12, cock.
What's important is that she and Tomoko have a history together, and even though it's a little weird that she wasn't introduced earlier, it's entertaining enough to watch them bounce off of each other. Also, she's fashionable and crazy, something every character in Watamote has going for them no matter what, but more so with her. It's honestly way too obvious how she's very clearly the best the unadapted portion of the series has to offer. So later on when I start talking shit about the other side characters, just remember, they knew how to do it right, they just forgot how to sometime around 2016. Number 2, Yoshida. I want to get beaten up by Yoshida. Number 3, the girl with the There's a scene where she and that's the only thing I can remember about her, but she gets an automatic 10 out of 10 just for that. Primarily because it's one of the only good chapters past the first half of the series, but I'll get into that later. Number 4, actually, that's it. I'm already out of good characters. The emoji girls are the only ones that even come close, but the fact that there's 2 of them is so stupid that it ruins any prospects. Like, it could have been a unique little gag, but of course it can't be that easy. What's really sad is they could have written them as being related to each other and turned it around. If you look at the chart, oh yeah, the series has a fucking chart, by the way. They made so many side characters, even the writers couldn't keep track of them all. But as you can see, there's no line drawing them together, even though they do that with Tomoko's brother and cousin. Imagine if Tomoko went to her house and her whole family just had this face. She even jokes that they're a part of the same tribe. Yeah, why aren't they? That'd be hilarious. But no, instead the joke is that she says gross. The word gross. That's the whole joke. Fuck you.
Just a spoonful of
Pussy!
I'd say the biggest showcase of the flaws I've hinted at is the Disneyland volume, wherein you, the reader, are invited to spend an ungodly amount of time remembering which ones of the side characters are in which groups. There's like 50 arcs going on all at once with half a dozen sets of similar-looking blonde-haired girls hating each other. You could have legit told me this was from a completely different series and I would have believed you. Like, look at this. Look at all of this. This is Watamote. Tomoko doesn't even show up until the 4th page. On the last episode of Saucy's Manga Reviews, I said Berserk has too many characters. I retract every single statement. All of it. This is worse. Oh, but don't think that just because you made it out of the Disneyland saga, you're safe. There's also multiple exciting chapters jam-packed with characters deciding who to eat lunch with, because they're slowly being overwhelmed with the sheer quantity of choices that they have. Like, look at this volume cover right here. Tomoko's just off to the side wondering what she's even doing in her own manga anymore. I refuse to call this shit Watamote. I don't know what to call it, but it's not the same manga it started out as. Out of 213 chapters, the entire second half of that is like pulling teeth. And the dialogue, oh my god, the dialogue. I seriously considered learning Japanese and translating the original release myself, because I was fully convinced that someone was accidentally making the conversations between the characters even more boring through sheer incompetence. Even the dirty humor later on just feels like a Flanderization compared to how good it used to be. And there's absolutely no plot whatsoever other than
big man on campus.
All Tomoko does anymore is slowly absorb more friends into her hive mind of screen time hoggers as she slowly gets too old for the show to take place in high school. But plot twist, she actually cares about high school now. Like, why, bro? Her figuring out ways to slack off was so integral to the formula. But nah, let's throw in 50 mini-arcs of the characters studying. That won't break Landon's will to live whatsoever. It's like how real-life school breaks you. Except Tomoko's been in high school since 2011, so while actual high school takes 3 or 4 years, this shit's been going on for more than 12. Something interesting about that, Tomoko's a junior for a decent chunk of the series, but then they decided to speedrun the shit out of her second year, only to realize how much they could have milked it, so her senior year's just been making up for lost time, it feels like. Then they have the audacity for her to be looking at colleges. I do not want to fucking see Watamote take place in a college, bro. So I assume they're dragging out her last year of high school so much because they're thinking everyone else feels the same way, and they'd have to end the series if she ever did finish grade school. I mean, they more than fulfilled the premise of the title. She's not popular. It's not even up for debate. Everyone in her class likes her. They should honestly shift the focus onto one of the other loner characters if they want to stay true to themselves. Hell, the only way bringing back this series for more seasons could be a net positive is if they basically just turned it into the Kotomi show starring Kotomi and dropped Tomoko completely by season 3. Like, if you're gonna rob your main character of her own screen time, at least give it to someone interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but Kotomi's a big baseball fan. Maybe you could do something with that.
It is also about the Mets. Baby, love the Mets. All right, baby, let's go. Get a home run. Baby, love the Mets. Let's go Mets.
But other than that, I don't know what to say, bro. I still think the first 100 or so chapters are pretty much a masterpiece. Tomoko's completely out-of-pocket views on the world, her friends from middle school being enough. Is that even a word you guys understand? Plenty. Yuchan being a clueless sexual harassment magnet, Kotomi lusting over Tomoko's brother. It's a classic setup. And like I said, even taking the two of them out of the picture, I miss the more slow burn chapters where it's just Tomoko watching or reading something she wants to try in real life, and all the hilarious ways it always blows up in her face. But take that golden age out of the equation, since it's basically a completely different series, and the most I can give this is 2 out of 10. And I'm being very generous there. All 2 of those points are pretty much just for the occasionally funny dick joke.
Shut up, stupid. You got plenty of slaves.